everybody.
Laredo's Frontera Radio was the first to break the news.
Toxic waste from Mexico or coal fly ash.
After more than half a decade, George Algett was not running for re-election on Laredo City Council.
After much contemplation and prayer, arrived at this conclusion that my watch has ended.
But one of his final votes this fall was the purchase of the Ponderosa landfill east of town. The city landfill is getting full, no doubt about that. But now they've fixed their problem.
So did we just buy a landfill? Yes, sir. It's the next 100 years.
But there was a second message in the vote. No to this place, the proposed Pescadito toxic waste dump at Rancho Viejo.
If you tell me that you're going to build a dump in a floodplain and you're going to be taking in coal fly ash and other waste from Mexico and you're going to run it straight through the middle of town across rail lines, the answer is not only no, but hell no.
Motion passed.
Hard to believe it's been 4 years since the Laredo City Council voted to oppose the dump. Even harder to believe it's been almost 10 years that folks have been fighting against it.
On what universe is it unethical to stand up for air quality and water quality?
The fight in Laredo pits neighbors against neighbors and the controversial local businessman C.Y. Benavides. This moment will tell you everything.
Absolutely. I'm an environmentalist at heart. You know that. You guys know my accomplishments in this community.
They like to give these places environmentally friendly names. In Lockhart, the proposed 17-story Green Group dump is called the 130 Environmental Park. In Laredo, it's the Pescadito Environmental Resource Center.
We're going to call it the next big green thing, but the reality is it's a toxic dump.
Benavides first denied the planned dump would take in dangerous coal ash or toxic waste from Mexico.
We're not bringing trash in from Mexico at all.
You're saying you're not going to do it, but it's on your application that you're going to do it. So you're either that stupid or you think that we're all that stupid. Either way, no thanks.
Altgeld will leave office with the Pescadito fight still unsettled after all these years, but there's no question where he stands.
The level of hubris and indifference to environmental quality is appalling. There's a dozen good reasons why a project like this should not go forward.
The TCEQ issued a permit to Pescadito despite the vote of Laredo City Council.
Motion's unanimous. Motion carries.
And the Webb County Commissioners.
Texas, we have a proud tradition of really not caring much for the environment as a state.
It is in the floodplain, without doubt, undisputably.
The TCEQ simply chose to ignore the simple fact that Pescadito would sit in a dangerous floodplain. But that may turn out to be the best weapon to defeat this toxic dump after all.
You don't have to be a PhD from MIT to know that building a dump in a floodplain is a bad idea.
But state administrative judges have given Pescadito a lifeline. June 2019, SOA puts the fight on hold while Pescadito fights FEMA maps. December 2019, Webb County asked the judges to lift the abatement and end this thing. In January of this year, SOA says no. These two administrative judges could have also stopped the fight when FEMA first said no. But history tells us they'll rubber stamp what the TCEQ did. One of the two judges is Stephanie Frazee. She used to work at the TCEQ. We found no case where she overruled her former bosses. There are 7 SOA judges who used to work at the TCEQ. We looked at 217 cases involving those judges. We found none where they overturned the TCEQ. But Webb County Floodplain Administrator Rhonda Tiffin is back in the spotlight. Pescadito thinks they don't have to go back to her for approval, but emails document the fight that's going on. In June, Tiffin complained to FEMA, quote, of repeated attempts to obtain information from Pescadito that they wouldn't give her. So Laredo now waits for FEMA to rule again.
This site is in the 100-year floodplain and threatens our Rio Grande and water supply. We don't need this dump. We don't want it.
There are enough of us shepherds who are watching our flock, and we're just not gonna let people dump in our neck of the woods.